Today's video is an in-depth review of the Joseph Duclos Diane Messenger. I have been meaning to film this video for a few months now. I apologize that it's taken so long, but let's get right into it and we'll look at all the ins and outs of the Diane Messenger. Hey there, this is Lulawestluxe. Thank you so much for joining me in another video. Or if you're new here, a very warm welcome to you. As I just said, today we are reviewing the Joseph Duclos Diane Messenger. I've already filmed one video on this bag, so I will link to that up above. That is my unboxing video and my first impressions video. So if you are interested to see how this bag was packaged and delivered to me, the box, the dust bag, all of that good stuff, I've already shown that in a separate video. I will link to that. I also talk about the ordering and the customer service experience. Joseph Duclos currently has one location, and that is in Paris, France. So if you are not traveling to Paris, you will need to order your bag either through the website or virtually through a sales advisor in their Paris store. That was how I purchased this bag. I did a virtual appointment with a sales advisor. We emailed back and forth extensively, I think over the course of a month or two. So I do talk a lot about the customer service and the ordering experience in that previous video as well. So I won't be covering those 2 points in this video. Here is the front of the bag. Of course, you can see it is a flap style bag. We have this nice decorative piece of leather that leads down to this beautiful hardware. And this is the really iconic arrow clasp for Joseph Duclos. This is featured on all of their bags in the Diane range. And the top of the arrow is engraved with JD. Here you can see the brass brace that goes all the way around the bag, and the bottom, let me see if I can get a good shot of this because it is so reflective. This says Joseph Duclos, and this is a brass hardware. So this is a gilded gold tone brass. It's not gold plated or anything. So that's the bag, and here is where the strap attaches. Let's take a look inside the bag. In order to open it, you just squeeze both sides of the clasp, and that releases that arrow lock, and you can just lift it up. The inside of the bag is fully leather lined. The top of the bag here in this blue is heritage leather. That is the same leather that's on the outside of my bag. The inside of the bag, this tan color, is a goatskin lining, and you can see it's just very simple inside. There's one slip pocket in the back, and we do have these gussets on the side, which I really appreciate, which help with opening the bag. You can see where it's sewn here because this is a very, very structured bag. There's not a lot of give to it, especially the way this brace goes around the whole bag. It is very structured, and this does help with getting in and out of the bag. So that is the tour of the bag. Let me talk a little bit more about the details of my specific bag, and let's get started with the leather. The Diane Messenger is currently available in 2 different types of leather. We have the Tempo leather, which is a grained leather. It's a little bit more hard wearing. It's really great for everyday use. The bag that I have is in their heritage leather, and this is a smooth leather, as you can see. It is very minimally treated, and it's an unfinished leather, which means that it will patina and darken over time. I've had my bag for about 6 months now. I have not noticed any change in the color or any patina. However, I do not use this bag every day, and when I'm not using it, I do store it in a dust bag out of the sunlight, which does slow down that patina process a bit. One thing I especially want to note about this heritage leather is it will get scratches over time. no matter how careful you are with the bag or how much you baby your bag, this leather will show some scratches and some wear as you use the bag. Even if you are super delicate with the bag, I've had this bag for 6 months. I've been very careful with it. The leather does have some surface scratching. These aren't deep scratches. They can be buffed out of the leather. But I particularly want to note where this lock is. It is susceptible to getting some little scratches you can see here. And that's just from opening and closing this. If you have nails, you could scratch that a little bit. And that is something to note. This will patina, this will show wear over time. That has to be something that you are comfortable with to get this leather. And if you want to use this for your day-to-day wear and you want this to be really a hard wearing bag, I would recommend getting this in the Tempo leather. Tempo is still a wonderful leather. It's very high quality, but it does have a pebbling. It does have a little bit more finishing to it, so you won't notice as much patina, but that would be my choice for a day-to-day bag. I decided to go with the Heritage just because I went into this purchase thinking that it will most likely be the only bag I get from Joseph Duclos, although maybe not. Maybe I'll get another one someday. But I really wanted the high-end, the creme de la creme Heritage leather. This is very similar to the Hermes Barania leather. So if you are looking for some sort of comparison or some sort of frame of reference, you can look up reviews on the Hermes Barania leather, and that is very similar in terms of the care that's required and the wear and tear that you will see over time. So I would recommend looking up information on that type of leather. This is a Novo Napa leather from the Haas Tannery. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but from my understanding, that is the same tannery where Hermes gets their Barania leather. And these two leathers, the Novo Napa and the Barania, are very, very, very similar. The color of this leather is Ardoise, and this is a taupe gray color. For a point of comparison, I want to show you this Calvi card holder. This is in Evercolor leather, and this is in the color Gris Meyer. So I'm just showing this because this is one of the other grays that I have available, and I know that a lot of clients of Joseph Duclos also have experience with Hermes. So just for another point of reference, here's Gris Meyer from Hermes compared with Ardoise from Joseph Duclos. So you can see this is a really deep, earthy gray tone. This Gris Meyer from Hermes is much cooler and lighter. So that's just a little bit of a color comparison for you. And again, this is the color Ardoise in Heritage leather. I've talked a little bit about the hardware already in this video, but there's a lot I didn't discuss. So let's take a closer look at the hardware now and talk about the pros and cons of it, because I think for the most part, the hardware is very, very well executed on this bag, but there is also one huge oversight. So let's take a really quick refresher look at the hardware on the bag. Again, we have this beautiful arrow clasp, and you do squeeze it at the bottom to lift it up and down. The clasp, again, you need to squeeze it on both sides. So it is, for the most part, a two-handed operation, but I would not say that it's difficult to open and close. Within having the bag just for a few days and opening and closing it a few times, you're able to do it without really looking or thinking about it too much. It becomes second nature. So it's not difficult at all, but you do have to squeeze in both sides of this lock to open it and actually to close it as well. You should squeeze that in when you lower the arrow into place and then release the lock. The hardware is, again, very beautiful. We have this brace that goes all the way around the bag from one side to the other. And we do have the Joseph Duclos engraving in the middle. Again, those are just my fingerprints on there. It is a very high shine metal, so it does show prints, but I think it's very beautiful. And of course, this brace lends a lot of structure to the bag. It is, of course, very rigid. There's no sagging that you're going to have to worry about with this bag. It will hold its shape forever. So that is the hardware on the bag. The hardware on the strap, I will show you very quickly. It's very substantial. I think the hardware on the strap, is very well executed. So, okay, let me line that up. Here we have these really substantial clasps, and you can see on one side of the clasp is the Joseph Duclos brand name, and then they have their symbol on the back side of the clasp. That is the same on both sides, and this is a very generous size. For the buckle on the strap, we have just a really simple buckle. It works really well, just the way it's designed to function. And to attach the strap on the bag, this is the biggest oversight, and I really don't know why they designed the bag this way, because everything else was so well designed and meticulously executed. But this is how the strap attaches to the bag. We have this piece that extends from the side of the bag, and then there is an O-ring, and the clasp on the strap attaches to the O-ring. And this O-ring is essential because if you were to remove it and attach the strap directly to the bag, this clasp would be low enough that it would catch on the side of the bag, and the strap could easily detach from the bag and your bag could fall off the strap. I know this because that is what happened to me after I received this bag. So my bag was damaged because I took that off, and I did have the bag repaired through Joseph Duclos. They did a great job. I was very impressed by the speed and how well they repaired my bag. But just to let you know, this is removable, but please do not remove it from your bag. And I really, really hope one day they will redesign this so this is not removable anymore. The Diane Messenger is the middle size Diane in the Diane range. There's currently 5 different sizes of the Diane. All of the other versions are the top handle Diane, and those are more square in shape. They're not quite as long, and I believe they're a little bit taller than this one, so they're more of a square shape and they have a top handle. This is the Messenger style of the bag, but it's also the middle size in the Diane range. There's 2 smaller Dianes, the Diane 15 and the Diane 20. Those numbers refer to the length of the front of the bag in centimeters. So the Diane 15 is 15 centimeters across the front. The Diane Messenger is the next largest size above the 20. And there's 2 larger sizes of the Diane 26 and the Diane 30. Let's look at the exact measurements now. In width, this bag measures about 26 centimeters. That's about 10 inches. In height, let's flip this to the centimeters first. This measures 17.5 centimeters in height. That's roughly equivalent to 6 3/4 inches. And then let's flip this bag over to the side so we can measure the depth. This bag is about 7 centimeters in depth, and that's roughly equivalent to 2 3/4 inches. For the weight of this bag, it is quite heavy. This bag is full leather. This is a heritage leather. The interior of the bag is fully leather lined as well, which adds to the weight. And there's a lot of hardware on this bag. The weight also includes the strap, which I have off to the side here. But the total weight of this bag with the strap included is 1 pound 14 ounces. That is equivalent to 855 grams. So this bag is just shy of 2 pounds. Finally, the last measurement I want to give you is the strap drop. Here is the strap, and we'll take a closer look at it. This comes in 2 pieces. It's just your standard crossbody strap. There are 5 adjustment holes on the side. There's not a lot of length at the bottom, so you would not be able to really add any holes down here. However, there is, of course, a lot of length up here. So if you are on the shorter side, I think it would be possible to professionally have some extra holes punched into the strap to make it a little bit shorter. Let's take a quick look at how this bag looks on me on the shortest, middle, and longest strap settings. And just for reference, I am 5 feet 8 inches tall. As for what fits inside this bag, I have filled it up, so let's open it up and take a look. As you can see, this bag will easily fit all of your daily essentials. We have a compact wallet. This is a trifold wallet. This is the Victorine from Louis Vuitton. We also have the 6-key holder from Louis Vuitton as well, a Calvi card holder from Hermes. This I have just random bits and bobs, little wipes and band-aids. We have a lipstick, a pack of gum, and a pack of pocket tissues. And I have a phone in here as well. This is just an old phone that I had handy, but if you do have the iPhone Pro Max size, which is the largest size of the iPhone, it will easily fit in this bag. So this is a really great size bag, and you can definitely fit all of your daily essentials very easily in the Diane Messenger. Finally, the last point I want to touch on is the pricing, and unfortunately, these bags are very expensive. I did purchase this bag before their last price increase, so even though I've only had it for 6 months, they have raised their prices since I purchased this bag. When I purchased this at the end of January, the price was $5,000 US. Today, when I go to the Joseph Duclos website, the US dollar price of this today is $6,100. They do add on taxes. Of course, you do have to pay taxes. There are also duties that are added on because unless you live in France, this bag is being shipped internationally to you. So the total cost of the bag does go up quite a bit. I just looked at this on the website and I added this to my cart. When I added in my shipping address and all the info, that bumped the price up to $7,089. So that's almost a $1,000 increase. So this is very expensive. If you are interested in getting the Diane Messenger, if you can't go to Paris to see it in person, I highly, highly, highly recommend opting for a virtual appointment instead of just purchasing it directly off the website. Go to a virtual appointment, talk to a sales advisor. They will show you the bag. They can make recommendations to you on what type of leather you can get, maybe even what color. They can, demonstrate more of what fits in the bag, modeling shots, all that information. So I would definitely recommend for this price point, it is very expensive, talk with a sales advisor on their website. You can contact them through the website. That is the information on the price. If there's anything you think I missed in this video, feel free to comment below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.